I was a zoology student in Cambridge in the 45. And there was only one conservation journal, only one conservation journal in this country. And that was Oryx, which was explaining what happened about and how we should conserve animals. It was a pioneer. I dare say it was regarded as being slightly cranky back in 1945 because the problems of conservation were not well understood. So they published Oryx, and that dealt with conservation in a scientific way. And I joined the charity because I wanted to take the journal and to discover what serious people were thinking about and how they were progressing conservation. The Arabian oryx was on the verge of extinction. How close was it, and what did they do about it?
Well, there was a young Californian biologist called Lee Tolbert, and he was commissioned by IUCN to do a report on endangered species. And he found that the oryx was on the verge of extinction. So the society commissioned him to find a way forward. He went to Kenya. He hired Major Ian Grimwood, who was a game warden in Kenya, agreed that he would take an expedition out to capture the last oryx and bring them back out of the wild. At that time, he'd just heard that 28 had been slaughtered, so people thought it might be too late. But it wasn't. It was not such a success as everybody hoped. Only after a month's searching, they found only 3 oryx, and they transported those back with the help of the RAF to Isiolo in Kenya, where they were held in a station, and then on to Phoenix Zoo, which had agreed to take them and set up the stud book and the world herd. Now, although it wasn't a success, having only 3 oryx, what then happened, the other zoos said, well, we'll pool our resources and we'll bring ours into Phoenix as well. And at the same time, a number of collectors in the Middle East, particularly in Saudi Arabia, put their hands up and said, well, I've got 10, I've got 13, I've got 14. And you can imagine how Grimwood felt, having broken 3 ribs, spent a month on hard tack, having to get the RAF involved in going out to get these 3 oryx. He suddenly finds out that these oryx are everywhere in the Middle East, but they happen to be in captive. So they eventually got about 65 animals together, started breeding them, and by the 1980s, there were 300 animals bred up, and then they released them into Oman, where the Sultanate said that they would guarantee their protection, particularly with the Harissa tribe, who greatly revered the oryx, and actually said that they would take responsibility for looking after it. And that still continues to this day.
So that's a remarkable achievement for our society, is it not? That it initiated the concept of taking animals that were on great danger of total extinction, of taking it into captivity and breeding it up with proper respect for stud books and so on, and reintroducing to the wild. So you are the supporters of the society, we can feel that is a feather to put in our cap.
And it was a first.
Yes,
it was a first.
My point.